sisters, and welcome again to another edition of BFR Ministry, Bible Facts Revealed. We are an extension of Absolute Bible Truth, Atlanta, where Brother Joshua and Brother Big Baby are the teachers there, along with assistant pastors Brother Antoine, Brother LeVar, Brother Jeff, and Brother Kevin. And we would like to invite you to join us on Blog Talk Radio, Absolute Bible Truth Sabbath class every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our teacher, Brother Joshua, for a blessed and edified lesson. Once again, we'd like to invite you out. Come and join us on Blog Talk Radio for our Absolute Bible Truth Sabbath class every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our teacher, Brother Joshua, who will be teaching you a very edified class. I'm Brother David, your teacher for today, and reading for me, as usual, is Sister Teresa.
How are you today?
And we are Absolute Bible Truth Chicago. And our motto here is, if they can't prove it, don't you believe it. The title of our class today is Soul, a word with two distinct meanings. Once again, the title of our class today is Soul, a word with two distinct meanings. And I decided to do this class today as a follow-up on previous classes that we've done on this topic, or this word soul. And we've brought it to you several ways to try to get you to see that as black Hebrew Israelites, you've been taught to basically ignore what the book says, because a lot of you profess to be Hebrew Israelites, the descendants of the Hebrews of the Bible, but you don't believe what's written in there. Mm-hmm. You don't. For instance, just not off the topic, but the Bible says that Enoch and Elijah were taken up into heaven. But the average black Hebrew Israelite said, "Now ain't nobody been to heaven." But the Bible says that. You don't believe what you read. You have become individuals who cannot think for themselves, and when you read, you've been dumbified. So we wanted to bring this topic back up again and bring it to you another way, in its simplest term or form, to show you what we've already showed you, but we're going to show it to you in the simplest manner. If you don't get it this time, it's on you. You can't say the Lord did not move us to try to get you to wake up, because a lot of you just sleepwalking. And you've been put to sleep by doctrine that is not accurate. It is not the gospel of Jesus Christ. But we want to bring this subject up, and the soul is that which makes the human or animal body, brothers and sisters, come alive. This usage of the word soul refers to life inside the body. Okay, we want you to understand that. And the physical body, we're talking about the physical body as opposed to something else. So the Greek word used in the New Testament for soul is translated life. Life, soul, they're one and the same, and we're going to show you this. And the soul, the life, or the breath, or the spirit, didn't the Lord say he breathed the breath of life, or breathed life inside of the body of Adam, and he became a living soul?
A living soul.
So something in him had to be living, because it came out of God. It's divine also, brother, and it's immortal. So he breathed an immortal soul in the body of Adam. This is what you're reading about when you look at Genesis 2 and 7. And we're going to show you this. But it inhabits the body. And this is something that you don't understand. It's eternal. Mm-hmm. It does not, but it cannot die when the body dies. Or when that immortal
continues to live.
Exactly, outside the body, because it leaves the body. And this is written in the Bible. We're going to show this to you. You see, you're not thinking. Somebody that you love dies, they're laying in the coffin, something exited their body, that immortal breath, that life that God breathed into them has left. It's departed, and it's not dead, because it came from God. It's divine, brothers and sisters. And you're not paying any attention to this. You think it's some spookery or some kind of foolishness, but it's written in your Bible. And your Hebrew forefathers believed, and they taught what we're going to show you today. And you're not doing it here now. These modern day Hebrew Israelites, They're not teaching this.
And they say that when you die, your body returns to dust, where it
Exactly.
came from. But where did the soul come from?
Exactly. Where did it come from and where does it go when it dies? Because it don't go the same place the body. It's not dust, brothers and sisters. It doesn't return to the dust. That breath, that life, it does not return to the dust because it didn't come from it. It's divine. Where is its divine maker? Up there in heaven. Where you think it's going? And it came out of your body. You don't understand this, and it's ridiculous. It's just sad. When you look at this thing, clear examples in the Bible, brothers and sisters, of that eternal soul leaving the body of people who died in the Old Testament. And you can read that in several cases. Actually, one in particular, that soul, that immortal soul, that breath, that divine inspiration, it returned to an individual, and what happened to him?
He became alive.
He became alive again. When it left, he died. Then he came back, he was alive
And that
again.
happened more than one occasion.
You're not reading, that's exactly. And you're not reading this stuff. You're not believing what you're reading. You're letting people dumbify you, and you want to argue with people who can read and clearly explain this stuff to you. It explains itself. You just don't believe. And you say you got faith in Jesus Christ. No, you don't. This is his word. This is what he had written by inspired prophets. Holy men put this stuff in the Bible. And you don't believe it. You claim you do, but when somebody show you, you don't believe. No, that ain't what did it say? You're not individuals who are really frightened by what the Lord promised you if you wicked. Punishment. And that punishment leads to damnation. Everlasting damnation. You're not paying attention to this. But you can go on. We're going to show you that the word soul also refers to the inner life of man, the seat of his emotions, and the corner of human personality. It also described in the Bible as a seat of man's desire. Man has desires. That's not the body. It's something inside of you desiring what? Desires love or to be loved, food or eating. It's not the body, sisters. That's something else triggering that. You got desire, it longs for something. It might be longing for the Lord. You know, a longing for God. It rejoices. That soul, that divine soul, it longs for knowledge. That ain't the body. And it also has memory. What is that? That ain't the body, brothers and sisters. That's something that's the conscious mental. And we're going to read this as well. And in the New Testament, Jesus spoke of the soul in this manner, as being, his soul as being exceedingly sorrowful. Was that talking about his body or something inside the body, brothers and sisters? These are things you are not paying attention to. And it's sad. You need to stop it. You need to stop letting people tell you what to do, and you need to do it yourself, like the Lord says, seek out of the book of the Lord for yourselves. Seek understanding for yourselves. God can grant you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And you don't understand this. But you profess to be a believer, one who has faith in Jesus Christ, but you're not doing anything he told you to do. So without further delay, further ado, let's get right into this lesson, and we're going to begin this lesson in Mark, the 8th chapter, and verse 35. And we're starting there for a reason. I want to show you something. Jesus declares and makes a valid point regarding our topic on the soul or the life, because he put it, breathed it through the nose of Adam. We all have it. Life, breath, air, soul, divine soul, immortal soul. It doesn't die, brothers and sisters. It just leaves the body. And the body dies. It goes back to where it came from. And then that immortal soul goes back where? Where it came from, to God. You don't understand this. This is written in the Bible. So when we get to 30, when you get to 35, Sister Teresa, start reading here. I want to show them something right here. And Jesus is saying something here, but pay attention to these words he's using, okay? And we're going to look them up for you. Go ahead.
For whosoever will save his life,
Wait a minute. Save his what?
life.
Soul, brothers and sisters. They one and the same. And we're not talking about the body. I'm going to show you that. Jesus is not talking. He's talking about that inner, that divine soul, that immortal soul within the body. The body is referenced as a soul too, but in this particular wise, in its context, it's not talking about that. But he said, whosoever will save his life
Shall lose it.
shall use it, what? His life or his soul, right?
Soul.
Go ahead.
But whosoever shall lose his life
His life or his soul, go ahead.
for my sake and the gospel.
And the Gospels, brothers and sisters, many of you have not been reading and learning the true gospel of Jesus Christ. That's why you don't understand this. Go ahead.
The same shall save it.
Save what? His soul, immortal soul, and his life. So what we're going to do now is go quickly and define a few words here. We read life. We're going to go to the Strong's Bible Concordance, and we're going to go to 5590 in the Greek section, and the word translated life. What is the word?
The word is suke.
And what does it mean?
From 5594, breath.
What?
Breath.
So Jesus could have easily said, whosoever will save his life, his soul, will lose it, his life, his soul, or his breath. That's what he's saying here. Go ahead.
I.e., by implication, spirit.
Spirit. Same thing, brothers and sisters. Same word. They mean the same thing. Go ahead.
Abstract or concretely, the animal sentient principle only. Thus distinguished on the one hand from 4151.
And we're going to look that up when we read the word in its proper context. We're going to look that up. It's going to show you that it means the same thing too. But go ahead.
Which is the rational and immortal soul.
What?
Rational and immortal soul.
What was Jesus talking about here, brothers and sisters? Your rational, immortal soul. If you lose your rational, immortal soul, okay, but for the gospel's sake, you can save it. This is what he's saying to you here. And you're not looking up words, and you take this and you just mess it up and just all out of context saying things that don't even mean what this is. All you got to do is look these words up and define them. It'll tell you what this means. Continue.
And on the other from 2222, which is mere vitality.
Go ahead.
Even of plants. These terms thus exactly correspond respectively.
They correspond respectively with words in the Hebrew that mean the same thing. It's going to give you the location of these words. Go ahead.
To the Hebrew 5315.
Which we're going to look up. Go ahead.
7307.
We're going to look that up too.
And 2416.
We're going to look them all up and show you they mean the same thing. No difference at all. But you just got to be careful when you read these words. Look at what context they're being used in so you can get the fullest understanding possible. But you be just, something I can't explain what you be doing. It's so crazy. Go ahead. Finish this.
Heart. Heartly. Life. Mind.
Brothers and sisters, go ahead.
Soul.
And
plus us plus you.
Brothers and sisters, the body, for your information, is not immortal. Or else it would be returned to the dirt.
Right.
It's not immortal. When you die, your body go back in the ground. That ain't immortality. But what comes out of your body returns to where? Above. Up in
where it came from.
Where it came from. That's where God is. He is the one that took of himself, something divine of himself, and put it inside of us. And it must return to him. And you don't even pay attention to this. This is simple. This is real simple. You make it complicated and you confuse people with this buffoonery people done taught you, and you go teach the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So we're going to move on here after getting this understanding out of this. And we're going to show a few more things regarding this topic. Okay, because the immortal soul is inside the body. Brothers and sisters, you have to be careful when you read the word soul and what context is it talking about. And you can explain it to people in its proper context when you understand by defining it what it's pointing to, what it's saying. And like I said earlier, the body is referenced sometimes to be the soul. That's true. But then there's something divine inside that soul. A soul in a soul. You don't think that's possible. God's arm is not short. He can create anything. You think he can't do what you can do. Brothers and sisters, you're trying to equate God with you. And you can't do that. It's nothing impossible with God. Nothing. All things are possible with God. And you don't understand this. Nothing is out of his reach, or there's nothing that he can't accomplish and nothing that he can't do. He will tell you his word goes out and it will accomplish what he sent it to do. It won't come back void. His word, unless you speak in the words of God, when you speak, your word will come back void every time. You're not God. And you need to understand this. Let's stay in Mark 8 and we're going to read the 36th and the 37th verse. This is Jesus. He's going to continue showing us what exits our bodies, brothers and sisters, upon our deaths. Read that 36 and 37 verse.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the world and lose his own soul?
His own soul. And this is 5590. When you look up that word, it's life. What we just defined: breath, spirit, rational, and immortal soul. So what shall a man gain if he gain the whole world and lose his own immortal soul? This is what it's telling you. You're not paying attention to anything. It's the same meaning as life. Or lose his life. Go ahead. And finish this.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
For his life. That's what God breathed into Adam. If it comes out, you lose your what? Your life, your soul, your immortal soul, brothers and sisters. Your divine inspiration. Your mental capacity is cut, it's gone. You can't breathe, air, breath. And it comes out, you can't see it, so that makes it what? A ghost. All of these are you talk about the same thing. Let's move on. Let's go to the Old Testament and take a look at something. Let's go to Genesis 35. And we're going to read verse 16 and 20. This is talking about Rachel, okay, Jacob's wife. And she went through something here. She is giving birth to Benjamin. And when you get there, at Genesis 35, we're going to start reading at the 16. Start reading here. Just pay attention to this. I want to show you something here. Because a lot of you don't even know this is in there. But read that. Start at the 16 and read this.
And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephraim. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass when she was in hard labor.
Yeah, she's trying to bring forth Benjamin. She's trying to bring him forth. Let him be born, but she's having hard labor here. Continue.
When she was in hard labor, that midwife said to her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also.
So she's trying to comfort her. Hey, don't worry, you're going to have this son. So go ahead, continue.
And it came to pass as her soul was...
Wait a minute. It came to pass as her what?
Her soul.
Did it say her body?
No.
It said, brothers and sisters, it came to pass that her soul, go ahead,
was in departing.
It was, what?
In departing.
Her soul was departing, meaning leaving, exiting her what?
Body.
Her body, brothers and sisters. It's not the body. This soul is not the body. You're not paying attention to this stuff that's written in this book. And this is the word of God. It was written by a holy prophet. A prophet who was inspired by God. Okay? But it says as her soul was departing from her body. She did what? What happened to her?
For she died.
She died, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
That she called his name Benoni.
Mm-hmm.
But his father called him Benjamin.
Go ahead.
And Raquel died.
She died. Go ahead. What happened to her body? Let's read it.
And was buried in the way to Ephrath.
So they buried her body. But, brothers and sisters, what happened to that breath? What happened to that life?
It departed.
It said that her soul departed. That's breath. And we're going to show you that. We already done it. We're going to show it to you every time we get this. We're going to show that's what left her body. That breath, that life that God breathed through the nose of Adam. It departed out of Rachel's body here. Now the body was buried. This let you know that soul is not the same thing. It's alive. It exited her body. Go ahead.
Which is in Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. This is the pillar of Raquel's grave unto this day.
That's where her body is, brothers and sisters, but what came out of it is not there. It's not there. That breath, that life, that soul, that divine inspiration, that immortal soul that God put in that body, it exited that body. And we can show you at this particular time where it went. And then at another time when Jesus came down on the cross, it changed some things. But we're not going to get into that right now. We're going to just continue to show you that this soul right here is not the body. The body was buried, but this soul exited her body. It departed, it said, and she died. That life left, that breath left her body. Let's continue, and we're going to see how this soul is described by defining it. We're going to prove what we just said. Let's go to the Strong's Bible Concordance, 5315 in the Hebrew, and look at the word translated soul here. And what's the word?
The word is nefesh.
And it means what?
From 5314, properly a breathing creature.
So this is talking about her breath departed. It left that body. Go ahead.
i.e. animal of abstract vitality, used very widely in a literal, accommodated, or figurative sense.
Okay.
Bodily or mentally.
Bodily or mentally. Her body didn't go nowhere. It was put in the ground, brothers and sisters. So this is talking about the other side of that, mentally.
Like you said, the body sometimes referred to as the soul.
And you got both of them here. But we're not talking about the body. It was buried when she died. But that breath, that ghost, that divine inspiration, that consciousness, okay, that immortal soul, mental, her mind, her thoughts, it exited that body. Go ahead.
Any appetites, beast, body, breath, creature, deadly, discontented, fish, ghost.
Ghost, brothers and sisters. You can't see a mind come out of a body. You can't see anything mental. You can't see a spirit. You can't see air. You reading this is what this is telling you. Continue. Let's finish this.
Plus greedy, hardy, mortally, one own person pleasure, her, him, my, they, thyself, them, yourself, plus slay, soul, plus tablet, they, thing, she, would have it. Okay, now I said this came from 53:14. Let's look at soul and see what it says in 53:14 very quickly. What's the word? Let's define it in the Hebrew. The word is nafesh.
Okay, what does it mean?
A primary root to breathe.
To breathe, with our breath. Isn't that what God put in all of us In Adam, the breath of what?
Life.
Life and breath, same thing. Soul, life, breath, same thing. Ghost, same thing. Immortal soul, same thing. Divine, same thing, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
Passively, to be breathed upon.
Exactly. Go ahead.
I.e. figuratively refreshed, as if by a current of air.
Current of air. If you somehow lose your breath, that's what happens when a person somewhat gets in the water and gets water in his lungs. What do they try to do? They try to resuscitate him by doing what? Breathing air in him again, brothers and sisters. Breathing what? Life. Breath, life. You don't understand this, but we're going to go. So soul has the same meaning as life, immortal soul, spirit, breath, which leaves or exits the body upon death. This is what you just read and been reading. All right, let's go now and read another example of this, because we spoke in the introduction about these examples that are in the Bible, and you don't pay them no attention about soul. And when you read it in this context, it's very clear. Let's go to 1 Kings 17 and verse 17. Then we're going to skip to the 19 and read to the 22. This is another incident involving the immortal soul. And you're going to see who this very famous prophet is here, who's dealing with this situation. But we're just going to read the contents here and see what this is talking about. Because here, life or the breath left this body, and it returns, and the body come back alive. That person lives again. They had life, lost it, and the breath came back, and they were alive again. You don't seem to understand something as simple as this. But when you get to 17, read that verse.
And it came to pass these things, that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick.
Fell sick. Go ahead.
And his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him.
Wait a minute. There was no what?
Breath.
No life, brothers and sisters, in him. Okay? No spirit in him. No immortal soul in him, because it exits the body. We've shown you that when you die. This is what this is telling you. Go ahead.
Skipping to 19.
Skip to 19.
And he said unto her, Give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom.
And who is this talking? This is Elijah the prophet, brothers and sisters. Go ahead. You know this. Go ahead.
And carried him up into a loft, where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Lord, and said, O Lord, my God, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourned by slaying her son?
So he's praying to the Lord. Lord, you don't do this, Lord. You know, don't do this. Go ahead.
And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto the Lord, and said, O Lord, my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul...
Wait a minute. Let his what?
Soul.
Let his immortal soul, brothers and sisters, because when it leaves the body, it does not die. It cannot die. Okay? You have to understand this. So he's saying, let his immortal soul, or his breath, or that ghost, or his mental, or his consciousness, or his air. I can go on and on and on. Life, let it come back. Okay, go ahead and finish that. He said, I pray thee, let this child's soul, go ahead,
come into him again.
Return into him again, into where?
His body.
His body, brothers and sisters. It exited the body, and it's coming back. It's not the body. This soul is not the body. You have to understand this. You have to read things in their proper context, and all it takes is a Bible concordance, and you define some words, define them, and you'll understand that somebody's been teaching you wrong, dumbifying you, and you think you're running to the truth, and you got it, you're running further and further away from the truth. They keep you that way so you can stay dumbified, and they can do what they've been doing, lying to you. Go ahead.
And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah,
Go ahead.
and the soul of the child came into him again,
Wait a
and he
minute.
revived.
Wait a minute. What came into him again?
The soul.
It did say his body came back into his body again, right? This is not the body in terms of the body being mentioned sometimes throughout the Bible as a soul. This is something different, brothers and sisters. Can't you see that? It says, let the child's soul, okay? And it came, and his soul came into him again. His immortal soul, his breath, life re-entered his body. And the child was revived. And it left and it re-entered. It left, he died. It re-entered, he lived. That's real simple, is it not? And you've been looking at this and can't figure this out. Let somebody tell you that don't mean what you're reading. How can you do that? How can you allow someone to do that? You have no fear of God, because when you get this thing right, he is going to say a job well done, son. But if you get it wrong purposely, because you're too scared to tell somebody that they wrong, and you go along with this wrongness, and you regurgitate this foolishness to people, you're harming people. And you're putting Jesus to shame all over again, because you don't want his truth. You prefer lies. And people who prefer lies are going to be damned, brothers and sisters. This is what the Bible said. You say you believe it, but you're not paying attention to what you're reading. But in any case, let's define a few words here. Let's look at that breath. 5397, we're going to go to the Strong's Bible Concordance, 5397 in the Hebrew section, and we're going to define or look up the word breath. What's the word?
The word is neshama.
And what does it mean?
From 5395, a puff.
A puff, go ahead.
I.e., wind.
Wind, go ahead.
Angry or vital breath.
Breath or air. This is what we're talking about here. Go ahead.
Divine inspiration. Intellect.
Divine what?
Inspiration.
Divine inspiration, brothers and sisters. Intellect. This is that immortal soul. All of this is connected. You're talking about the same thing here, but he's giving you these particular names, letting you know what you're dealing with here.
So in a sense, you can say that the soul has many parts.
Exactly.
It breathes, it thinks.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's telling you. And I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what this definition is telling you. The soul has more than one, or you can even be a little bit more definitive. Man has more than two parts, brothers and sisters. This is what you're reading here. And we were in what? This is something that we're reading, 5397, and we're going to further define this, but you read, it says, divine inspiration. Something divine is in us, and it was put in us by God. It's a divine soul, an immortal soul. Finish this.
Intellect. Or concretely.
Concretely it said. Go ahead.
An animal blast that breath. Breatheth.
That breathe. You breathe. Animals breathe, so we humans. Go ahead. We're talking about human beings. Go ahead.
Inspiration, soul, spirit.
Same thing. We read. It's the same thing. This word breath means all these things, brothers and sisters. And we're dealing with something mental here. It said intellect. That ain't the body.
Nope.
You don't understand this. That's not the body. It's inside of the body. It causes the body to do things, to function. This intellect, and it's divine. It's from God. That's why people can't get away with the wrong they do, because God put something in you that's divine, and you should know automatically right from wrong. Don't nobody tell you that. You don't have to read the Bible to distinguish what's right and what's wrong. This is what people don't understand. And as I said earlier, brothers and sisters, a body cannot re-enter a body. A soul, you don't understand this. We're not talking about the body. We're talking about something inside of the body. Let's continue and stay in the Strong's, and we're going to look at 53:15 in the Hebrew. It's soul, and that's the word that we read there. We're going to define this word. We go into Hebrew. What's the word?
The word is nefesh.
What does it mean?
From 53:14.
Mm-hmm.
It even means ghost, which is.
We read this earlier. Same word. I just put it here just real short so I can show you that it's connected. All this is connected. It simply says it means ghost, which is a spirit, life, breath, air, mental, immortal, or even divine. And this is what so we're gonna stay in the Strong's, and it mentioned the word revived. It said that the child was revived, right? We're gonna stay in the Hebrew in the Strong's and go to 24:21. And what's that word in the Hebrew? Revived.
Kayal.
Kayal. What does it mean?
A primary root. Comparative 23:31, 23:21. To live, whether literally or figuratively, causatively, to revive.
To bring back is what they're saying. Revive. If you pass out and somebody revive you, they cause you to be awakened again. Brothers and sisters, this is what it's telling you. To do what? What does it say? To do what?
Keep, leave, make alive.
Make alive. You're being revived. You're being brought back, in other words. You're going to be revived. Go ahead.
Certainly give promise. Life, live, nourish up.
Life. Life is coming back into you. Revive. Go ahead.
Preserve, save, alive, life, lives, lives, be whole.
Be whole, because you're not whole if you die. Something gets out of you. Something gets missing. That's what happens when your loved ones die and they're in the coffin and the preacher standing and tell you all of them in the coffin. This definitely let you know he's not whole. How can all of that person be in that coffin? They're not whole anymore. Something exited the body.
Correct.
They're not whole.
Correct.
And you don't understand this. You're not paying attention to what you're reading. You just listen to some preacher giving you his spin on what something means instead of you rolling up your sleeves, because brothers and sisters, you got to earn your salvation. It ain't going to be given to you. It's not a free ride. You got to please God. And that's the bottom line. And you trying to please some man here who done built some building, and the building is going to wash away and be gone, but eternal life is forever. What are you afraid of? If you're wrong, you're wrong. Simple as that. Get it right. Ain't nobody telling you to leave, nobody. But get it right. Call him out when he's wrong. Read for yourself. That's the only way you're going to know he's wrong. Don't just take what he's saying, regurgitate the same thing back out to somebody, and it's wrong as 22 left shoes. Don't do that. Let's keep on moving. We're going to now go and read this thing, read this word soul when it was first used, and it was described to be inner life in man, and it dealt with, it was the seat of his emotions as well, his personality, and all the above, breath, spirit, ghost. We're gonna show you what this is attached to. Let's go to Genesis 2 and read verse 7. All of you are familiar with this, but we're gonna show you, as we've shown you thus far, that hey, somebody's been teaching you this thing wrong, and you've been understanding this thing wrong. But this is very simple. We're going to read that one verse. Start reading at verse 7. Genesis 2 and 7.
And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground.
So we got his body. He formed his body out of dust. He fashioned his body out of dust. It was just a body. That's it. Go ahead.
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
The breath of life. Brothers and sisters, we're going to look this breath right here up. It's 5397, as we've looked it up already, and it means several things. But he breathed what? Air. Life into that body. An immortal soul, something divine into that body.
And you know, when you say something divine into the body, it reminds me of when a person dies in the hospital, and they put him on the respirator and they pumping air into his lungs, and then they still have to call him dead because he doesn't get revived because it wasn't divine.
Yeah,
and that's God's call. If he wants to revive a person, You know, there's people who have died and they said, I was dead, but somebody cried out for them, evidently prayed,
That's
and they were able to be revived.
Same thing happened when Elijah prayed for the little boy. Oh God, oh Lord, my God, let the boy's soul return. And he did. And that's happened here in our time. People have been in the hospital and prayed for people, and the Lord had mercy and let that divine inspiration, let that immortal soul return to that body, which it had exited, but he commanded it, gone back, and he got some more time. I'm gonna grant him some more time. This is written in the Bible, brothers and sisters. You don't understand what you're reading here. But did you finish that? It said
no.
Finish that.
And man became a living soul.
Okay. And when you look up that soul, it's 53:15, and the breath is 53:97. They mean the same thing. But look, let's look this word up. Let's look up, excuse me, breath in the Hebrew, 53:97. And what's the word in the Hebrew?
The word is neshama.
Okay, and what does it mean?
From 53:95, a puff, i.e. wind, angry or vital breath.
Vital. If something is vital, that means it's crucial. Crucial to what?
Life,
brothers and sisters. Come on. Go ahead.
Divine inspiration. Intellect.
You need intellect. If God had just made Adam and put breath and there wasn't nothing else attached to that breath, he would still be just laying there breathing.
Right.
They had no capacity to think, no capacity to do nothing. With no mind, no mental capacity, no divine inspiration, no intellect.
Which actually animates the body.
Exactly. You don't understand this, but go ahead and finish this.
Intellect, or concretely an animal blast that breatheth. Inspiration, soul, spirit.
Immortal soul, immortal spirit. This is what we've been reading. We read the definition earlier. I wanted to read it again and show you what this stuff is. And when you look at this word, you got to look this word up. You can't apply soul to the body every time you read soul in the Bible, brothers and sisters. That is just foolish. You're not trying to read anything in its proper context to get the understanding that God put in this Bible by inspired prophets so you can understand how he thinks, what he wants you to learn and teach others. You've forgotten. I don't know what to say. It's sad. But anyway, let's continue. Let's move on, because we can see God inserted this breath, this life, this soul inside of man's body. And it's divine. And it's also considered immortal. And it's exempt from what? Death. It goes back to who gave it to man. You can read that in Ecclesiastes. And you're not looking up any words, you don't understand that. But anyway, we're going to go, and I'm going to show you that Job knew about this inspiration, this divine inspiration that God gave and put into man by breathing into Adam, his nostrils. Let's go to Job 32 and read one verse, verse 8. God inserted divine inspiration, or the immortal soul or breath or life or ghost in the body of all of us. And you don't understand it. You let people dumbify you so you can't understand this. But go ahead and read this verse 8. See what it says.
But there is a spirit.
What?
A spirit.
This spirit is defined in the Hebrew, brothers, and we're gonna define it 53:97. But we read what that is. But we're gonna reread it. Show you what this is in Job. It said that, but there's a spirit where?
In man.
In man. Go ahead.
And the inspiration.
The what?
Inspiration.
And the divine. Go ahead.
Of the Almighty giveth them understanding.
Or you can say the intellect of the Almighty gives us understanding. It's divine. Like I say, you automatically know right from wrong without anybody telling you. Where do you think that came from? That's why you can't escape the punishment of God if you're going to continue to be wicked and you know you're doing something wrong. You can't do that. But let's look up this word. But before we do that, let's go someplace else. This is really talking about, he said, but there's a spirit in man. Who put this spirit in man? The Lord breathed it through the nostrils of all of us. And he said here, he said, and in man and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. You can't plead stupid before the Lord. He's giving you all the things you need to understand what he wants you to understand. You can't plead dumb. Let's go to another place. Psalms 36 and read 1 verse 9. Here's the Almighty. He is the source of all life, Almighty God. It's no life without him, because he's the source. It's a gift from him, brothers and sisters. You got to understand this. But let's look at something here. Let's read this 9th verse, because it's going to tell us something here. This is how the sweet psalmist David puts it. Okay, let's see how David put this.
For with thee is the fountain of life.
The fountain of what?
Life.
Life with thee. With God. And then he gave it to who? He gave it to Adam and all of us. The fountain of life. The breath of life. Life. Because man was made and created to be immortal, brothers and sisters. You keep forgetting this. But go ahead, continue. And we're going to look this life up too, because it's 24:16, 24:21. Go ahead.
In thy light shall we see light.
And this light, you can look that up. It's the Hebrews 2:16. That means happiness. That's all it means. In our light and our happiness shall we see happiness. And whose happiness? Not our own. God's. Brothers and sisters, excuse me. This in the scriptures also teaches us about many emotions and desires of our soul. Immortal soul. Divine inspiration. And this is not referring to our bodies, and we're going to see it. And this is talking about the man having desires something here. Let's go now to Deuteronomy 12 and read verse 20, because here is the soul, and it desires something. And we're not talking about the body, brothers and sisters, okay? Because in of itself, the body don't think. Something inside of the body thinks. And the body reacts. This is what you don't understand. But let's read the 20, and we're going to read, let's read the 20 and the 21, okay? Because I want to get all of this. Go ahead.
When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh.
What longs to eat flesh?
Thy soul.
Thy soul. The body, or something inside of you making the body react? That's what's longing, brother. You desire. The body in itself don't desire nothing. Remember, when it was created, it lay there lifeless. It didn't desire nothing. It couldn't do nothing until God put that divine inspiration, that intellect inside of it, that breath, which comes in 2 parts, inside of you, that immortal soul, and then it began to function. Because then it's mental consciousness. You don't understand this. Go ahead and continue. And we're going to look this soul up. This soul right here. It said it longing. It's in the Hebrews 1:83, but finish this. Then we're going to look this up.
Thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
And that second soul is defined. It's 53:15. We've already read. Define that. Okay. Lusted also was 183. Let's look at this 183 first and define that, because that's lusted, so you can understand what's lusting after food. Okay, let's see if we can get this understanding out of this definition of that word lusted. We're going to go to the Strong's Bible Concordance 183 in the Hebrew, and the word translated lusted. What's the word? Okay, read. What's the word?
The word is avow.
And what does it mean?
A primary root to wish for, covet.
Wait a minute. Does the body in itself wish for anything?
No.
Or does it take some thinking? Does it take some rationality? Some rationale, some thought. That's not the body, brothers and sisters. This is why I want to look this word up. We'll go ahead.
Greatly desire.
Wait a minute. It said covet and greatly desire. Go ahead.
Be desirous. Long. Lust after.
The body don't do this. It does not do that. Something inside of the body triggers this. And you react to that, what you have inside of you, that mental capacity you have, that consciousness, that divineness, okay? This causes you to do these things because God put it in you. Now you can use that divine thing that he put in you for goodness or wickedness. It's your choice. Nevertheless, it's there, it's in you, that immortal soul, that breath, that life. You can live a righteous life or a wicked life. It's your choice. But you see what this means here. And we're going to go now and read the Song of Solomon. We're going to go to Song of Solomon 1 and read one verse 7, because here is, the man he's desiring love here. This is not the body in itself, brother, desiring anything. It's what's inside of the body that triggers this, and the body then reacts because it has something controlling it, meaning telling it what to do. Okay, let's go now to the Song of Solomon, chapter 1. We're going to read verse 7. Here is Solomon talking about his soul desiring something, love. It's not the body, brothers and sisters. It's what's inside of the body that's causing this. Let's go and read that one verse, verse 7.
Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth.
And that soul is 53:15, which we've defined for you already. It's not the body, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
Where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon.
Go ahead.
For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flock of thy companions?
Or be bashful about my desire to make love to you. This is what Solomon is saying here. You need to go in the Songs of Solomon and reread that. Okay? Anyway, this here is the soul desiring love. Okay? Desiring to love somebody or make love to somebody. Let's go and read it again. Here's the soul, and we're going to go stay inside and go back to Psalm 63. We're going to read one verse there. Here's David again talking about his soul longing for God. Okay? And here, he's going to put both of them here, the body and what's inside of the body. Let's read that verse 1. Psalm 63, verse 1.
O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee.
Okay, my soul. That soul there, brothers and sisters, is Hebrews 53:15, meaning breath or ghost, and all the other things that are attached to that. Go ahead, thirsteth for. He said, my soul thirsted for thee. Go ahead.
My flesh.
My what?
My flesh.
What's laid out of the flesh?
The body.
The body. And this is Hebrews 13:20, bazar. And it's from 13:19, flesh, body, skin. He got both, David got both of them here. He's making a separation so you can clearly see what he's talking about here. But you pay no attention to this. You just group everything into, this soul is about the soul. Every time you read it, it's talking about the body. No, it's not. You are incorrect. Go ahead and finish this.
My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is.
So here's David giving us both the soul and the body, which is also defined in other places as the body. But here he separates and he tells you what's what. The flesh. That's his body. But it's not called the soul here. Something else was called the soul. And it longed for something. It wanted something. It desired something. We talking about the desires of men. The body don't desire nothing, brothers and sisters. It's what's inside of the body that does this. All right, let's move on. And we're going to stay in the Psalms and go to Psalms 86 and read 2 and 4. And here's a immortal soul talking. It's actually rejoicing. This is what we read here. When you get to verse 2, read that too.
Preserve my soul,
Mm-hmm.
for I am holy. O thou my God, save my servant that trusteth in thee.
Okay, skip to 4 and read that.
Rejoice the soul of thy servant,
Mm-hmm.
for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul.
This is all these souls here are defined as, in the Hebrew, as 53:15, which we read, which is my breath, life, immortal soul. Brothers and sisters, you're not looking up anything, and you just mess up stuff. This is sad. Okay, he's referring not to the body here. This is not the body he's talking about. We're going to stay in Psalm and go all the way to Psalms 139 and read one verse there, verse 14, and see what's cracking here. This is part of mankind. He deals with knowing. In other words, the soul desires to know. It's longing for knowledge. That's not the body, brothers and sisters. It's what's in the body that desires knowledge and wants to know knowledge. The body can't do nothing if it didn't have what God inserted in it to make it mobile and long and want and desire things. Because it wouldn't have any life in it. It wouldn't be mobile. That's why dead people can't do nothing. The man dies, you ain't got to worry about him
All
robbing.
his thoughts perish, they say.
Yeah, under the sun.
Under the sun.
Under the sun. But anyway, let's read this 14th verse and zero in on this. And when you read this solely, it's the same 53:15 we've been reading throughout this lesson. And all you got to do is go back over the lesson and see what it means. Or either get you a Bible concordance, Strong's, and look at it yourself. But anyway, go ahead. We're going to read this 14th verse.
I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
What's fearfully and wonderfully made? The body is fashioned. It was fashioned out of the dirt. Go ahead.
Marvelous are thy works.
Go ahead. And when he fashioned that body, he put something in there. Go ahead.
And that my soul knoweth right well.
I told you, something has been put in us where don't nobody have to teach you between right and wrong. He said, my soul knoweth right well. You know right from wrong automatically. God.
I see that in little children.
Exactly.
Babies. They come out barely talking, but they know what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly.
Without you even telling them.
Well, exactly. And you do too. And you have no excuse. But here it's telling you what was fearfully and wonderfully made. And then he say, and my soul knoweth the right from wrong. We're not talking about the body here, brother. Here it is. Both of them are right here too. Because to know means he's talking about your mind. Your intellect. Then it say God put divine inspiration in man. Intellect. You don't understand this. And it's all in his word. And you have been dumbified by your pastor, and you are now afraid to see God's truth. You're more afraid of the pastor than you are Jesus Christ, who is returning to straighten out this world, and you're going to look for the wicked, it says, and they're not going to be around. Do you want to be a part of that number? You better think about what I'm saying to you and stop letting people frighten you away from God's truth, and you lean on him. Don't worry about no man and what he thinks. He can't do nothing for you. Anyway, let's continue this. Let's continue looking at the desires of man and what causes him to desire. It ain't the body, brothers and sisters. It's what's inside of the body. Let's go to Lamentations 3. We're going to read 19 and 20. And this is the inward man, or the inner man, or the soul, or the breath. All those things are attached. Immortal soul. And it's talking about its memory. The body itself don't remember nothing. It's something in the body that has memory, the capacity to remember. That's not the body that does that. Anyway, let's get in and read this. Read these two verses. Go ahead and start at 19.
Remembering mine affliction.
It said, remember mine affliction. Remember. The body itself can't do that. Go ahead.
And my misery.
And misery. Go ahead.
The wormwood and the gall.
Go ahead.
My soul hath them still in remembrance.
And this soul is 53:15 in the Hebrew. Same woman, but sisters and brothers, this is simple. Go ahead.
and is humbled in me.
In where?
In me.
In me. This soul is in him. Isn't that what you said? You're not paying attention. You've been reading this for years and just reading right over this stuff and you don't understand it. But we just want to break it down to you. Hey, you can't say you don't understand this. You're going to stand before the Lord. It's been shown to you. But you just rejecting it. And you're doing it because you fear a man more than you fear the Lord, the God of Israel. And that's all it is. You fear being alone. Like God's arm is too short. He can't make you happy or give you happiness. I would much rather have the happiness of God than the happiness of anybody. That's what we're supposed to. God makes you rejoice. That's something special. Okay? But anyway, let's continue this. Because it does not depict something that the body does, brothers and sisters, what we just read. This is what's inside of the body, because the body can't remember in and of itself. It's what's in the body. The body is not intellect. The intellect is inside the body. The body is not divine. It's what's inside the body. The body is not immortal. It's what's inside the body. And you don't understand this. Anyway, let's keep on looking at this, and we're going to revisit something in the New Testament. Let's go to Matthew 26, and we're going to read the 36 to the 38 verse. And this is talking about desires and passions and emotions, okay? The body can't do this. It's what's inside the body. But let's read what is said here. Jesus is talking here. This is our Lord and Savior. Let's see what he says here and see if we can put it in its proper context and not twist it all out of shape and make it mean what we want it to mean instead of what it does mean. Go ahead.
Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder.
So he don't want to do this thing. He knows what he got to do. He don't want to die. So he said, look, y'all, sit here while I go pray, man. Hey, I'm just terrible. I feel bad. We talking about feelings here, brothers and sisters. It ain't got nothing to do with the body. This is something inside of the body bringing this reaction about. Go ahead.
And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee.
Okay, now again, praying involves what? Emotions, feelings, which are of what? The mind or the consciousness. It got to do with the body. Go ahead.
And began to be sorrowful and very heavy.
This ain't got nothing to do with the body being sorrowful. These are thoughts that bring about this. Go ahead.
Then saith he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful.
Wait a minute. My soul, we looked that up earlier, 5590 in the Greek. That was the first one we looked up. And you know what it means, so it's not talking about the body, but he said, my soul is exceedingly sorry, my immortal soul, my divine soul, it's exceedingly sorry. Go, even unto what?
Even unto death.
Go ahead.
Tarry ye here and watch with me.
Now we're going to look it up again, 5590 in the Greek, Strong's Bible Concordance, people. Look it up. We're going to look it up one more time to refresh your memory because it was the very first word we defined. So now we way into the lesson. We're going to define it again in the Greek section. The same definition as the word life. That's what this word is. When you say soul, he's talking about life. So he's talking about his life. He said, my life is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Because that's what you lose when you die, your life. Go ahead. We're going to go there. The word is soul. What's the word in the Greek?
The word is suke.
And what does it mean?
From 5594. Breath.
Go ahead.
I.e. by implication, spirit.
Same thing. Soul, breath, same thing. Go ahead.
Abstract or concretely, the animal sentient principle only, thus distinguished on the one hand from 4151, which is the rational and immortal soul.
Go ahead.
And on the other from 2222, which is mere vitality, even of plants. These terms thus exactly correspond respectively to the Hebrew 53:15, 73:07, and 24:16. Heart, heartly, life, mind, soul.
And when you look all this stuff up, brothers and sisters, it's all connected. Rational and immortal soul. When you get into that, the breath has, when you look at and define breath, it comes in more than one part. It comes in two parts. And all this stuff is connected, no matter where you go and look at it. And you don't understand this because you are not studying to show yourself approved of God. And that's very sad. Let's move on. And see that this is referring to something inside of the body. It's plain and simple. Not the body. Because the body is not what? It's not immortal, brothers and sisters. But go ahead. We're going to go now to Luke 1. And we're going to read 46 and 47. Here's Mary, the mother of Jesus. And she proclaims that her soul is going to do something. Okay? Go ahead.
And Mary said, my soul doth magnify the Lord.
And when you look at the soul, it's 55:90. We just defined it. And go ahead.
And my spirit hath rejoiced in God my Savior.
And 41:51. Hey, we just read about that in that same definition. Rational, immortal soul. Let's look at the word spirit. We're going to define that word right here in this verse. This stay in the Greek, in the Strong's, 41:51. What's the word? Spirit.
The word is pneuma.
And what does it mean?
From 41:51.
41:54.
Excuse me. From 41:54, a current of air.
What?
A current of air.
Go ahead.
I.e. breath.
Spirit, breath, same thing. I've been telling you this all along. I usually find these words. It's not confusing. It may appear that way, but it's not. They all mean the same thing. But you have to understand that the breath comes in more than one part. But it's still letting you know what it's talking about here. What this whole verse is talking about. What it's pointing to. Go ahead.
Blast or a breeze.
Go ahead.
By analogy or figuratively, a spirit.
Go ahead.
I.e. human, the rational soul.
The what?
Rational
the
soul.
Rational soul. That's not the body, brothers and sisters. Rational, something rational. You talk about thinking here, thought. That's inside the body. Go ahead.
By implication, vital principle.
Very vital, because without it, you can't live. Go ahead. The body is not mobile.
Mental disposition, etc.
Mental disposition, that's the body? No, it's not, brothers and sisters. It's telling you what it is. Mental, that's the mind. That's inside of the body. That's what God's inserted in the body. Intellect. Divine inspiration. Job told you about it. That's what we've been reading about. All of this stuff is hooked up. Continue, let's finish this.
Or superhuman, an angel, demon, or divine, God, Christ's Spirit, the Holy Spirit.
Go ahead.
Ghost, life, spirit, spiritually, mind, comparatively with 55:90.
Mental has to be talking about the mind. That's not the body, brothers and sisters. That's inside of the body. And it's been trying to, this is what's written in this book from Genesis to Revelation. And all kinds of examples the Lord had his prophets put in here so you could be aware of what he wanted you to understand. But you are rejecting it. Okay, now let's go to the third epistle of John. And we're going to read verse 2. And John is referring to, is he referring to his body or his immortal soul, which is in his body, or both? I'm going to let you decide after we read this. It's just one verse, and we're going to get this out and read this.
Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth.
Even as my soul, he said, prosper. when you look up this soul, it's 5590. We just defined 5590 for you, brothers and sisters. That 5590 is breath, spirit, rational, immortal soul, life, mind, heart, vitality. This is not talking about the body. This is what's inside of the body. This is what he's referring to here in this third epistle. Go ahead, and then we're going to keep on. Now when you read this, maybe you'll clearly understand what Jesus has been referring to all along. And let's go to Matthew 10 and 28 and read something. With all that we've shown you in defining words and clarifying things that you've got all backwards and messed up because you're regurgitating what you heard some pastors say. Instead of standing on your own 2 feet, standing before the Lord and say, yes, Lord, I take that because I did that on my own. I take that because I was the cause of that, Lord, I confess. You can't be, well, see, it was him. He told me to no. You're going to be judged for what you do and don't do. You can't use that excuse standing before the Lord. It's your responsibility to get this understanding for yourself. And stand on your own 2 feet because you're going to be weighed in the balances. And Jesus is that little weight that will get on the scale with you and help you make it over. And you don't even understand that. And you don't want to believe his word. You don't want to preach what he has written here. And it's been put here by divine and holy prophets, inspired prophets. Anyway, let's read this 28th verse. Maybe now you can clearly see this for what it says. Okay? Matthew 10 verse 28. Read that 28th verse.
And fear not them which kill the body.
Kill what?
The body.
We got one here, the body. Go ahead.
But are not able to kill the soul.
The kill what?
Kill the soul.
This is a separation here. A lot of you know it's not. He ain't making no sense. Yes, he is. Okay, just keep reading. Go ahead.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both souls.
Wait a minute. Both? Let me ask you. When you see the word both, is that one or more than one?
It's more than one.
Both can be defined in one word. It's two. Both. That sounds like more than one to me. Mm-hmm. It's at least two.
It's at least two.
At least that. So when he says here, read that at the top again. Start that verse over and read it again.
And fear not them which kill the body.
That's one. Go ahead.
But are not able to kill the soul.
The immortal soul inside the body. That's what he's telling you. Go ahead. And you keep reading, he's gonna prove it. Go ahead.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both the soul and body in hell.
Both the soul and body. And what is and? Means something else is attached to what he said before he used and, brothers and sisters. Don't you understand English? The soul and the body in hell. These are two things right here. You might listen to your pastor tell you, no, it's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. You know, he said, fear him that can destroy. If you saying destroy, then this is the lake of fire, isn't it? Because he's talking about destruction. He's not talking about punishment here. So he's going to throw both body and soul in the lake of fire. So what he's telling you here, brothers and sisters, he's not talking about punishment. He said, fear him that can destroy both the body and the soul. This is more than one here. They're not the same. Okay? Anyway, let's move on because he's talking about destruction. And when he's talking about destruction, he's talking about throwing you in the fire, in hell. Hellfire, and you're going to be destroyed. Okay? Not punished, but destroyed. Jesus is clear here. He makes a separation here. He said both. That means more than one. It's at least two in terms. So let's go now to a few more places and clarify something. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 2:12, and we'll read one verse there, verse 7. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, and you can probably understand this a little bit better now after we brought forth this lesson. Let's look at verse 7 in Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament. When you get there, read.
Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was.
Wait a minute. we're going to see a separation here. Okay? That Solomon is making. He said, then shall the dust, what's made out of the dust, brothers and sisters? The body. So the body shall return to the earth as it was, right? It's going to be dirt again. So we got one here. Go ahead.
And the spirit shall...
Wait a minute. And something else here. And the spirit. Go ahead.
Shall return unto God who gave it.
Wait a minute. What did God give man? Well, let's go back to Genesis 2 and 7. What did he give Adam? After he formed his body out of the dust, he breathed into his nostrils the what? The breath of life, or he breathed life into that body, or he put a divine spirit in that body, an immortal soul in that body. All of us the same, brothers and sisters. And we've been showing you this throughout this lesson. So here we have the dust, which is the body. It shall return to the earth where it came from, as it was, and the spirit shall return to who? To God. Where is God at? Where is God? He's in heaven. So where is this immortal soul that exits the body going when it leaves the body, when you die? Do I have to tell you again? I don't think so. You see this. You see it. Don't let nobody take this away from you. It's going to cost you if you keep doing that. We keep giving it to you. You keep letting people take it with the same old scriptures they've been using for 20, 25 years, and they didn't mean what they meant then, and they don't mean it now, and they won't mean what they said mean tomorrow or the day after that.
And here they say the spirit is the breath, the spirit in many forms. And it only gives you, it tells you that it's the breath here. But that's not what it means.
He's not complete.
It's not complete.
He's giving you a little pinch or something instead of giving you the whole thing. Because he don't know it. And he ain't trying to know it. He wants to stick to what he's been teaching because that's what he's got and hooked you with. And so why should he change? Well, why should he change anything? You've been believing this foolishness all this time, so why should he try to learn anything else or get it right, in other words? He feeds you the same thing. Somebody said, man, somebody showed me da-da-da. Now, he could take you right back and reinforce that foolishness he put in you. And you still become, as you are, a regurgitator. A falsehood. You're not speaking the word of God. And that is really sad. I'm not rejoicing over that. I'm trying to get you to shake it off. Wake up. Become God's servant. Become a tool and a weapon for God. And look at this stuff. Research it yourself. Go over this lesson. And you'll see that it's the truth. And you shut him down the next time you speak in error about this. And if he say get out, then get out and leave. God is with you. You ain't got to worry about being alone. There are other people that believe the truth. You can find them people and fellowship with them. And it ain't necessarily got to be standing next to them when you do it. We're in a world of technology, brothers and sisters. You're far behind. You're trying to do something that's not even necessary. But anyway, and you know what? We here in Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, did it say that a person had to wait 1,000 years before their spirit ascends back up to God and put it in the body? Did it say that?
No, it didn't.
Did it say that? Did it say this had anything to do with waiting 1,000 years for anything? That's something else that's out of whack. This spirit, this immortal soul, this breath, this life, divine inspiration, intellect, ghost, it returns, it shall return unto God who gave it. Did it say he had to wait 1,000 years? No! Anyway, let's move on because we're going to define a word here. We're going to go to the Hebrew 7307 and we're going to define that word spirit that's written here. Because I told you it was breath, soul, life, immortal soul, and so on. We're going to see if the definition verifies what I said. What's the word?
The word is ruach.
Ruach. And what does it mean?
From 7306, when
When, go ahead.
by resemblance breath,
It means breath. I just said that. Go ahead.
i.e. a sensible for even violent exhalation, figuratively life.
What?
Life.
That's what God put in all of us. When we are alive, we have life. Our body is mobile. If it exits this body, we are no longer living. We're dead, brothers and sisters. You got to figure this out. This is simple. Go ahead.
Anger, of substantiality, by extent, a region of the sky, by resemblance, spirit.
Go ahead.
But only of a rational being.
Only of a rational being. What makes a being rational? A human
Thoughts,
being.
being able to think, logic.
Intellect, divine intellect, inspiration God instilled in us, put in us. Brothers and sisters, you're not paying attention to this word. Go ahead.
Including its expression and function.
Go ahead.
Air, anger, blast, breath, cool, courage, mind.
Mind. Go ahead.
Quarter, side, spiritual.
Without intellect or mind, the body cannot be mobile, even though it might be alive. You ever seen people in the hospital and their brain wasn't functioning right, and they was there and breathing, but they was just in a coma, but they were still alive. Their brain wasn't functioning to the point to where it could operate to cause them to be mobile and move and think and talk and all of that, and even sometimes even see, brothers and sisters. These things are right before you, but you are taking some pastor's word and you're not getting in this book yourself and reading this. And we're going to continue on because we got a few more to go, and we're going to bring this to a conclusion very shortly. Let's go to Revelation 6 and 9. I've shown you this before, but now perhaps you can look at this in a different light. This is simple. This is real simple because we're not going to bring this to you anymore. If you don't get it, that means you don't want it. It's been brought to you in several ways. Excuse me. This is the last way we're going to bring it. If you don't want it, that's okay. You're rejecting God's word. We're just showing it to you in its proper context. Okay? Let's go to Revelation 6 and verse 9. We're going to read 9 to the 11. And we're reading about immortal souls here that have exited the bodies of humans. The bodies, they died, the bodies were put in the earth, and these souls went back to God who put it in the body. Didn't we read that in Ecclesiastes?
Yes, we did.
And this is what we're reading here. These souls that are under the altar are immortal souls that were in the body when they were living on the earth inside of men and women. Then they passed, then the body was buried and returned to the dust as it was, and then the immortal soul or the breath, okay, or the spirit returned to God who put it in man and made him move. Life, brothers and sisters, all life is a gift from God, and when it exits your body, it goes back to the one who gave it.
That's right.
This is common sense. This is also written in the scriptures, and you can't even find it, and it's right in your face. But anyway, let's read that. Read this.
And when God had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God.
Wait a minute, slain for preaching the true word of God. And this soul here is Greek 5590. That's what we started this lesson with. We defined it. You know what it means. Okay, it's not the body here. This is the soul, the immortal soul, the divine inspiration. This is what God inserted in man, breathed through his nostrils. This is life. Go ahead.
And for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
These souls know what vengeance is, know what payback is. They dead, but they're alive, and they still have thoughts. And if they know about the people that did wrong to them on the earth, they have memory too, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's what leaves the body, brothers and sisters. You're not paying
All
attention.
your memories of everything you've ever done
Perished under the sun.
perished under the sun, but it is still with you in that spirit
It's all
that
that-
leaves the body.
It's all that simple. They're not under the sun anymore, but they still have these things because they in another world. It's not over with when you die. The Bible tells you that. What's wrong with you? Anyway, continue this. We're going to finish this.
And white robes were given unto every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season.
Their mortal souls are resting. Just like your body made out of dirt was sent back to dirt. And it's resting in the earth. It gets its rest. You don't think the soul needs it? Even the Lord left and had to rest. Weary of you and your foolishness. But it's divine. It rests. Go ahead. Finish this.
Until their fellow servants, who are their brethren, that shall be killed as they were, should be fulfilled.
And this is talking about none other than Enoch and Elijah. Those are the only two flesh and blood men that haven't tasted death, and they must die because this story cannot be left open like that. All men live are born and they die, and these two men did not taste death. So why do you think they're returning? They're going to do some preaching and showing the saints the right way and so forth, and then they're going to be killed. But then they're going to be revived. I can read that to you. You can too. You can read yourself. In other words, life is going to leave their bodies. Their immortal souls going to exit their bodies. And then after 3 days, they're going to return. And they're going to live. Now what we're going to do, brothers and sisters, is move on and go very quickly. Let me show you something else out of the scriptures. Yeah, out of the scriptures. We're going to go to the complete Dead Sea Scrolls in English, page 547, and this was found in the Quorum Cave, discovered in 1947. And when you get the book, you'll see all the other stuff that's attached to this, and it's compatible to Enoch, something Enoch wrote in his book. But we're gonna just read just a little excerpt here that they found in that cave, and it simply says, "This is in the dead out of the complete Dead Sea Scrolls in English," and these are the scriptures, brothers and sisters. Anyway, and that's another lesson in itself. But it says this. It has ... meaning there was something there, and they don't know what it was because all they found was a piece, a fragment. And what they found and could read and understand says this: the soul of all the sons of men, and behold, these are the pits for their prison. So these souls here are gonna have pits, and it's gonna
be their act as their prison.
It's their prison. It's simple as that. You know, pits are their holes, okay, or dungeons. And they say they were made thus until the day of their judgment, okay, until they're gonna be held there. That's why it's called a prison. It said until the final day of the great judgment, which will be imposed on them. This is the wicked. This got V-A-C-A-T. There I saw the spirit of a dead man complaining, and his moaning rising up to heaven and crying and complaining. Then we read that the souls up under the altar up in heaven were saying, "Lord, how long, oh Lord?"
They were complaining.
They were complaining. But this is another place they were complaining there too before they got there. Because something happened, brothers and sisters, to cause those souls to be taken up to heaven. Jesus did that, but that's another lesson. But they were someplace else first, and they were complaining. Okay, and one soul in particular, we're going to show you who this soul is. So question, which dead man does this immortal spirit belong to? We're going to show you who it is. Now we're going to go to the book of Enoch, because it referenced Enoch. Enoch 22, we're going to read verses 3 to 7, and that's where that came from, out of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the book of Enoch. Because if it came to a man in a dream, it came to Enoch first, brothers and sisters. If it came in prophecy, it was given to Enoch first. And I can go on and on and on, okay? But in Enoch, we're going to read the book of Enoch, verse 22, chapter 22 rather, and verse 3 and 4. And the title of this is Abel's Spirit heard crying out for justice. So it's obvious who this spirit was. And other verses are titled Sheol or the underworld, Abel's soul heard crying out for justice. Just as those spirits were crying out for justice under the altar. This is all connected, brothers and sisters. That's why I told you the scripture. Okay? Now let's start at verse 3 and read.
When Raphael answered, Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me.
This is Raphael, one of the holy angels who was helping him, taking him on this journey he was on. He was with him. Go ahead.
And said unto me,
Go ahead.
These hollow places have been created for this very purpose.
So hollow, these are holes in a sense. Like I said, pits, holes. Okay? Go ahead.
That the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein.
Then when you look at this, it's talking of the spirits, meaning from the spirits from the souls or the bodies. This is what this is telling you, of the dead shall assemble therein. Because remember, when you die, something exits the body. It's that breath, that spirit, that's the immortal soul, that divine inspiration, the intellect, and so on and so on, the breath. Okay? This is what he's telling you here. Go ahead and finish this.
Yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here.
All the immortal souls of the children of men shall assemble here after what? Death.
After death.
This is what you're reading here. Go ahead. We're going to skip to verse, well, no, we're going to stay in here. This is verse 4. The title of this is Abraham's bosom. And you can confirm what Abraham's bosom is by going right in your Bible and read Luke 16. And it'll show you what Abraham's birth is and what his place is that he's talking about. These souls are imprisoned. It ain't under the sun, brothers and sisters. It's below us. Go ahead.
And these places have been made to receive them until the day of their judgment.
So they're going to be held in this place. This place was created for this very purpose. Go ahead.
And until their appointed period, till the period appointed, till the great judgment comes upon them.
Go ahead.
I saw the spirits of the children of men who were dead.
Wait a minute. If he saw them spirits, they were immortal spirits then, weren't they? Because they came out of what? The bodies of men, brothers and sisters. We've been reading this all lesson. Go ahead.
And their voices went forth to heaven.
Wait a minute. They talked after they was dead? Of course they did. Go ahead.
And made suit.
He said, and their voice went forth, meaning they spoke. They were complaining to heaven and made suit. They complained like they did in how long, oh Lord? Are you not going to revenge our murder, our death by the hand of the wicked? Go ahead.
Then I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me.
The son of God. That's what Raphael is, a son of God. Go ahead. A holy angel. Go ahead.
And I said unto him, this spirit.
This immortal spirit. Go ahead.
Who is it? Whose voice goeth forth and maketh suit?
Whose voice is? Who is this doing this complaining? What soul is complaining like this? What is he complaining? Who is this? Go ahead. And we're going to skip, and you can find the answer to this. Go into Genesis 4 and 10. You'll know who it is when you read that. Now, this is verse 7.
And he answered me, saying.
So he's going to tell him who it is. Go ahead.
This is the spirit.
The immortal spirit. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to interject that. Go ahead.
This is the spirit which went forth from Abel.
Wait a minute. This is the spirit that went forth from Abel. Well, it certainly had to come from somewhere. It came out of his body. It said it went forth from Abel. So Abel's body was buried. And this is what came out of his body. Go ahead.
Whom his brother Cain slew.
He murdered him. Go ahead.
And he makes his suit against him.
His complaint against him. Go ahead.
Till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth. And his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men.
A righteous man, because he was a wicked man to murder his brother like that. Brothers and sisters, this should be very clear to you. It's much, I can put much more to this, but I tried to put something together to see if I can jolt you out of stupidity, out of about being someone's slave and stand on your own 2 feet and get this stuff. Because it's for you. You don't have to basically go by what somebody tell you or go because he said it. No, you research it yourself. Look for it. Be sure. The book say make your calling and your election sure. And yours is not sure. You're not standing on solid ground, brothers and sisters. And you don't know that by now. You are blind. All right, we're going to go to the last place, and I want to go into a dictionary. And all of what we just read can be confirmed by Luke 16. Okay, it confirms, and you know what? Luke 16, this is Jesus talking in Luke 16. So you going to call him a liar? He's telling you about a place where the dead go. And you don't even see that. And that's not the lake of fire in Luke 16. It's not. Okay, well, we're going to go into a very wonderful dictionary. We're going to go into the Nelson's Super Value Series, Illustrated Dictionary of the Bible, page 979. And I want to define this place where they were. And the Hebrews call it Sheol. And the Greeks call it Hades. Or plain and simple, both knew it to be hell. All right, and this is where he says these holes, these pits were made for the souls of men, and they were going to be there until judgment. Okay, but Jesus messed that up and it changed, and that's another lesson. But let's just define this word here, and it's something in there very, very interesting. And we're going to look at what's written here. This is the definition of Sheol. When you get there, read what it says about Sheol. Read the definition of this word, Sheol. What does it mean?
Sheol, meaning unknown, in Old Testament thought, the abode of the dead.
Okay, then that means the meaning ain't unknown then, is it? It's telling you what it is, the abode of the dead, the place of the dead, or for dead souls. Go ahead.
Sheol is the Hebrew equivalent of the Greek Hades,
which I said earlier. Go ahead.
Which means the unseen world.
The unseen what?
World.
World, brothers and sisters. It's another world. And that's what Jesus was telling you in Luke 16. Go ahead. Where the rich man, Abraham, and Lazarus were. And everybody else that was in there at that time. Go ahead.
Sheol was regarded as an underground region.
And you can confirm that by reading Numbers 16 and 30 and Amos 9 and 2. Go ahead and look at the description of this place. Go ahead.
Shadowy and gloomy.
And gloomy. Go ahead.
Where disembodied souls.
Wait a minute. What is a disembodied soul, brothers and sisters? It disembodied. That means it's separated from something.
The body.
From what? The body. This is the definition here. This is what your Hebrew forefathers believed. They taught for generation after generation. And that's what they preached. It said where disembodied souls, go ahead.
Had a conscience.
Had a what?
Conscience.
Well, they were talking down there. Didn't Abel's soul speak?
Yes.
It out. Right on.
They had a lawsuit against
complaint
his brother
for killing him. The souls up in heaven. How long, oh Lord? They had a conscience, brothers and sisters. But we're talking about disembodied souls, spirits, immortal souls, divine inspiration, intellect, breath, and ghost. But go ahead and you say where disembodied souls had a conscience, but go ahead.
But dull and inactive existence.
So they existed. You can confirm that in 2 Samuel and even Ecclesiastes 9. And continue to read it. Now, let's read something about the Hebrew people and what they believe. Go ahead.
The Hebrew people.
And you claim to be Hebrews, descendant of the Hebrews of the Bible. But look what they regarded this place to be. And you claim to be a Hebrew and you don't think like this. So that makes you an imposter. You want to tell people what you are, but the things that the Hebrews of the Bible believed and taught, you don't want to have nothing to do with that. Just pick stuff out of the Bible and just deal with that. But all of it you don't want. You can't deal with half the Bible. and be a righteous person, brothers and sisters. You got to deal with it all and just leave it alone. But it say the Hebrew people, okay? And you claim to be Hebrews. What did they regard this place to be? Continue.
Regarded Sheol,
Hell or Hades,
as a place to which both the righteous and unrighteous go to death. Go at death.
At death. This is what I told you. Jesus, when I said mess this up, what I meant was Jesus changed that when he descended. Before he ascended, he descended first, and he changed this. He left up out of Sheol with the saints, brothers and sisters. That's why you have him up under the altar. But this didn't happen until he was crucified, after his crucifixion. But it says the Hebrews, the Hebrew people, and you claim to be Hebrew, they regarded Sheol, hell or Hades, as a place to which both the righteous and unrighteous go at death. And when you go into Luke 16, you can see it was divided, separated by a gulf. Abraham and Lazarus on one side, and the rich man was in torment and in pain. And thus, he was being punished. Go ahead and finish this.
A place where punishment is received and rewards are enjoyed.
Punishment, not destruction. It ain't the lake of fire in Luke 16, brothers and sisters. There's a difference. And the rewards
Are enjoyed.
are enjoyed. Abraham and,
So how
and
is the
Lazarus.
hell that we have been hearing that it was? Because hell, nobody's enjoying that.
Not on the side where this place is not a place for the unrighteous and the righteous. It's just a place now after Jesus went there and preached and left with the saints. Only the unrighteous go down there now, brothers and sisters. Nobody want to be there. It's not enjoyment. It's not rewards down there. Well, if you do wickedness, you're going to get that. That's your reward. But it's in terms of enjoy, something to enjoy. The rich man, when you look at Luke 16, he didn't enjoy his condition. He didn't enjoy, he said, I'm being tormented in this flame. So this concludes our lesson. We hope and pray that you sit down and go over this lesson, get out the necessary reading material so you can thoroughly understand this and hold on to it. Don't let nobody take it away with you by bringing that same old garbage they've been teaching for 30 years. Haven't changed anything, haven't increased your understanding in any way, any form, any fashion. You have to do it yourselves. And you can. Don't fear man, fear God. And on that note, Teresa and I really thank you for blessing us with your ears. Taking the word of God in, and hopefully and prayerfully, we pray that you hold on to it and you keep it. And then when you get the full understanding of it, you can teach it too. So until next time, we wish you Godspeed. Draw me